Hello, this is Anna Laura Brown, host of the Autoimmune Rehab Podcast, where we talk about how to actually thrive and heal your autoimmune condition rather than just covering it up with pills or changing your diet and hoping you'll feel better one day. We feature solo episodes on helpful topics and interviews with guests who have actually walked in your shoes with autoimmune disorders and/or who have years of experience in helping people to thrive and not just survive with autoimmune challenges. I started this podcast because I was diagnosed with Hashimoto's in 2018 and wanted to inspire hope and transform health for people with autoimmune challenges. So keep listening and let's get you the help and hope you really need. This is the Autoimmune Rehab Podcast. Now, today's episode is going to be a solo episode where I'm going to talk about the essential steps to take after an autoimmune diagnosis. So a lot of times you get that autoimmune diagnosis and you just get overwhelmed and you don't know what to do. And a lot of our guests on this podcast, which hopefully if you're listening to this episode, you've listened to at least one of the guest interviews and hopefully maybe multiple of them. And if you haven't done that already, I strongly encourage you to go back through the archives and check out at least some of the guest interviews. And they all talk about some of the things that they recommend that you do first after getting a diagnosis. But I wanted to do this solo episode to talk about all the different things that I feel like you need to do after getting a diagnosis with an autoimmune condition. So the first one is to just breathe. Just go breathe, relax, slow down a little bit. And then you want to stop and take a little bit of a break. And I personally recommend that you don't actually take any action or do anything to try to resolve the issue or try to heal yourself or whatever for at least a week or two. Just give yourself a little bit of a break, acknowledge the fact that you've gotten the diagnosis and that there are things you can do about it. And in most cases, you can either get it into remission or you can get it to the point that it doesn't control your life. But you need to just calm down, breathe, stop, and take a little bit of a break to avoid the overwhelm. Start thinking about things before you just get super overwhelmed. Then the third thing you want to do is you want to surround yourself with the right support and the right team. So this will include, in some cases, maybe a family doctor. Depending on the disorder, there might be some kind of a specialist you might need to see. But I tell people to be a little bit careful with this because a lot of them are really focused on just giving out drugs. They're not really focused on actually finding the root cause and helping you actually heal. So for example, if you've been diagnosed with either Hashimoto's or Graves', which are the autoimmune conditions of the thyroid, don't bother finding an endocrinologist. They're just not helpful. So you just want to work with a regular good family doctor, ideally somebody who specializes in functional medicine. Also, you probably want to get some help from some kind of a health coach and or nutritionist. Potentially consider acupuncturist, a chiropractor, just a different team of people who ideally have specialties in holistic healthcare and can help you on that journey to helping you heal from an autoimmune condition. And one of the things that I can help you with is I can help you with the right referrals, with help giving you a good idea of who you need to talk to. And this is one of the many things that we can cover in a Pick My Brain session. So you will find a link below to this podcast episode where you can sign up for a 1-hour Pick My Brain session. I charge just enough to justify my costs without it and to make it worth my time without it being super expensive. So, you can go there and check out for what the current pricing is and see how much it costs. And we can brainstorm a lot of the different ideas. I can share different resources for you one-on-one based on your particular needs, that kind of thing. Okay, then number 4, create a plan. In other words, what are you actually going to do now that you know you have this autoimmune diagnosis to fix your given problem? And a lot of times you'll want to create that plan with help from your support team, from your medical doctors, things like that. And then maybe, include some things based on your own intuition. Then the other thing you want to do is to make changes one step at a time. So you want to avoid the tendency to get overwhelmed and think that you have to change everything, change the diet, change this, change that thing and the other thing all at once. And just focus on making those changes one step at a time and realize that things will come. Then number 6, you want to start meditation and journaling because these things are really, really helpful for helping with your emotional side and helping to overcome some of the trauma, other things that may have initially caused the autoimmune, and helping you to just process and work through the challenges of having an autoimmune. Then number 7, you're going to want to evaluate your progress every 3 months. And depending on the condition you have, your doctor may be meeting and doing labs about every 3 months for at least the first year or two. And for some conditions, they may be doing it for even longer than that. But even if they aren't, you want to take time to evaluate things every 3 months yourself. Then number 8, know that it's a journey and you won't get better immediately, but you will get better over time. So let's go back and go through those steps really quickly again. Then number 1, breathe. Number 2, stop and take a break. Number 3, surround yourself with the right support team. Number 4, create a plan. Number 5, make changes one step at a time. Number 6, start meditation and journaling. Number 7, evaluate your progress every 3 months. And number 8, know that it's a journey and you won't get better immediately, but you will over time. And then I probably should maybe even add a number 9, which is go back through the archives and listen to any of the episodes from this podcast that you feel like would be helpful. And I would add, not just listen, maybe even take some notes down from some of the episodes that you feel like are relevant to you. Maybe even consider reaching out to the guests on the guest episode to find out how they could potentially help you. Find maybe 1 or 2 that you specifically want to work with to get some help. I've also had quite a few authors on here too, so you may want to even consider reading some of the books that some of the people that have been on this podcast have written. And then last but not least, if you do really feel like it could be helpful, reach out to me for a Pick Your Brain session and let's chat and let me give you some words of wisdom that will fit your one-on-one situation. It's kind of a form of health coaching to some degree. I don't take on full-time health coaching clients. I'm primarily a content creator, but I do offer the 1-hour Pick Your Brain sessions where, for 1 hour you pick my brain and we talk about some things and give you some recommendations based on your own personal situation and based on my experience as a health coach. And, from my experiences with autoimmune and interviewing lots of other people with it, give you some good pointers for your personal situation, that kind of thing. So anyhow, go ahead and subscribe and follow to this show as well if you haven't done that already. And if you found this episode helpful, I would greatly appreciate a review or a rating. And feel free to share either this episode or other episodes or the entire podcast with anybody else you feel like could find it helpful. And if you have an autoimmune story that you feel like you've at least partially healed yourself, you don't have to be fully healed, feel free to reach out and I'd be happy to interview you too, if that's something that you feel comfortable doing. Again, this has been another episode of the Autoimmune Rehab Podcast. Take care and share with you soon again on another episode.